right. So next up, gentlemen, we have the Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
Bear
Bears.
down. I guess that's what they say. Anyways, at number one, they moved up again to take a quarterback. No, it's not Mitchell Trubisky Jr. They moved up to take Justin Fields from the Ohio State. I think they got the V from the U, but anyways, um, they followed that up in the second round. Went offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State, followed by Larry Borum, offensive tackle, which they took in the fifth round from Missouri. Running back Khalil Herbert from Virginia Tech. They also took they took him in the sixth. Wide receiver Das Newsom from North Carolina was taken in the sixth round as well. Cornerback Thomas Graham Jr. from Oregon was taken in the sixth round. And then Curious Tonga, defensive tackle from BYU, was taken in the seventh round. And then I do want to also just point out, yeah, okay. So that was it for the Chicago Bears as they had to give up some picks, obviously in order to move up. Um, I say a solid B for me. Obviously, that pick, that first pick is the one that everybody's been talking about. I personally love the pick. I love the aggressiveness because I didn't think you should have signed Andy Dalton before the draft and say, "Oh, he's our starting quarterback" or whatever the hell that crap was. I know they were aggressive. They were trying to pursue Russell Wilson and everything. You heard their rumors and rumblings with the whole Deshaun Watson situation. So you could tell they were looking for a quarterback. So for them to come out and sign Dalton and then make a statement and say that he's our starter just doesn't add up. You can't be going from Russell Wilson's and Deshaun Watson's to Andy Dalton and just being satisfied with that. So just didn't make sense. Not gonna lie though, I'll say me and Vic. Spence was there. We were all live. I'm sorry, Spence. We were all live there, and when they moved, when they moved up, I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually scared. I was just like, they're gonna make the wrong pick again. Y'all done gave up all these draft picks for the second time in 4 years to move up. I really thought it was gonna take Matt Jones. I really did. But to everybody's surprise, they took Justin Fields, which was the right pick, in my opinion. Um, you could argue that he's 1B or 1A or however you want to do it, because as we spoke about, I think this is more so in person with when it comes to him and Trevor Lawrence. They since high school they've been like competing against each other where they're from. So it's like they were the best best in the state or whatever. So and then in college, obviously they're 1-1. So it's just like, and again, their names are being pit up against each other. Obviously, Trevor went one. Fields had to fall a little bit, but I feel like he'll use it as motivation. But nonetheless, that that to me was the only pick I cared about for the Chicago Bears. They had a couple other good picks, but that was really it because how long have they needed a quarterback?
It's been a while. Jay Cutler last time, I believe.
And they didn't draft Jay Cutler. So
Nope.
that's the crazy thing about that. They traded for him. They haven't had crazy stat. They don't have a quarterback in Bears history to throw for 4,000 yards and 30 plus touchdowns, which in today's NFL, that is kind of like
Norm.
that's a normal type of stat to get. That's a modest stat. Uh, Jameis was doing that in Tampa. Jameis threw for 5,000 yards. So I'm just saying the fact that they haven't had a quarterback in the Super Bowl era at all to reach that just says a lot.
Um, so I'm gonna agree with you. B is the grade I wanted to give him. I couldn't give him anything more than that just because limited draft picks. I didn't have a lot to work with, but the top two picks definitely was a game changer. Obviously, getting the quarterback is a pretty big deal, uh, which I'm not a Bears fan by all means. Devin Hester was probably one of the only
Closest.
players that that had me pulled to where I was rooting for the Chicago Bears. But outside of that, Tevin Jenkins, love it. Offensive tackle, they definitely need offensive line help. So that's a plus to me. But outside of that, the rest of them, uh, we'll have to see when that time comes. But this will do for now. Again, limited draft picks, so just a solid B.
As long as they
Spence,
got that defense, they're gonna be good.
yep, they've been in the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years.
Last one shouldn't count. Anyways, I'm gonna give it a B minus. It was a C plus, but due to the Justin Fields pick, it raised to the B minus. These were not bad picks; were just very okay, average picks. Yeah, they had to work on the line, so yeah, they had to. But Fields there, it changed the whole landscape of that. Now Andy Dalton saying, "Oh yeah, I'm number 1." Yeah, for about maybe 2 more weeks, maybe I don't know. But I feel, but for me, it's B minus. This was they right the wrong, guys. They right the wrong about the Trubisky thing. They're like, we gotta fix it. We gotta fix it.
Yes. All right. So from Chicago on to Cincinnati, the Bengals. We Day, is that it?
Who
Yeah,
that?
that's the thing.
Who Day?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I,
the
I
thing.
always get that confused. It's so close. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I don't
care.
I don't know who says we day, but yeah, I don't care either.
Or who that? Whatever.
Yeah, who that for the Saints?
Yeah. Who Day? Whatever. Weird. Anyways, number 1, pick 5 overall. Panay. Oh wait, never mind. I'm sorry. They did do that. That's what they
No,
should have done.
they
In our
should have.
mocks, that's what they did.
Wide receiver, LSU, Jamar Chase. Followed that up with offensive tackle from Clemson, Jackson Carmen.
Hmm.
Okay. Then they go in the third round, defensive end, Joseph Osai from Texas.
Yeah,
Then they follow that up in the fourth with another defensive end, Cameron Sample from Tulane.
The examples.
Then they go defensive tackle in the fourth with Tyler Shelvin from LSU. Followed that up with offensive tackle Deontay Smith, East Carolina. They got a place kicker in the fifth, Evan McPherson from Florida. Center Trey Hill from Georgia in the sixth. Chris Evans from Michigan, running back in the sixth. And then defensive end Wyatt Hubbard or Hubert, Kansas State in the seventh. I am giving them, I give them a A. I actually like their draft as well. Jamar Chase, it's kind of like the Falcons thing, what we talk about with Kyle Pitts, right? It's not necessarily what you probably should have done or necessarily needed, but you can't deny Jamar Chase's talent. And in the long run, it probably is going to be beneficial to you because some would say he's probably going to be a generational, generational talent, generational receiver. He already came out and said that he plans to break all of the Bengals records. He said he doesn't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it. You did go ahead and come back in a second and get an offensive tackle, which everybody said, O-line, protect Joe Burrow. You didn't do it in the first, but this was a deep draft as far as offensive line. So you came right back to it in the second pick, so I see it. Do like their I do like their next two picks really well as well with Sample and Osai. So yeah, overall I give them just because of some of the talent they were able to get. I give them a solid A.
Oh well, Trey, you are so nice. I gave him a B plus. Reason being, same along the same guidelines with the Atlanta Falcons. Um, they got a sexy pick. Wasn't what we all thought they should have done. But I did tell y'all this last time that I have a feeling Jamar Chase would be the best route. The thing that made it go to a B plus instead of an A or A minus is the second round pick. I like that they got a offensive lineman. It is a guard though, um, but it was not one of my favorite offensive lineman prospects, especially at that time. So I felt like they could have gotten a better one that would have, upgraded that to even then, an A minus or an A, maybe an A plus, just depending on who they got to say. But other than that, I mean, they got in the third round, they got Joseph Osai, um, which there was a lot of
Replace Carlos
projections of
Dunlap
yeah,
potentially.
yeah. They got him in the third round, which I didn't think he was going to slide all the way to the third round. So, great value with that pick. Cameron Sample, another defensive end. That was another good pick. Obviously, the next pick in the fourth round they got was Tyler Shelvin and another offensive tackle, Deontay Smith. I don't know too much about those two players, but obviously they are hoping those two players hit. But yeah, outside of that, they did get another guard in the seventh round that I like personally. Wyatt Davis from the Ohio State.
Mhm.
So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure they have a plan with their offensive line, but again, the second pick,
They better have one.
getting Jackson Carmen, it was a little questionable. I felt like they could have gotten a better offensive lineman, but hey, that's their team. They feel like they know better, so a B plus is still a good grade, but not an A. Spence.
I'm gonna give him a B plus too. I mean, I get it because you're trying to get dynamic duos together. This is what I guess this drive is about, is getting combos together. Hey, so it'll work. It's just that sure they got offensive line in the second round, but you gotta protect your investment. Hopefully he can. I mean, with all other picks, they were pretty decent picks. With the Bengals, but I mean, I get it. It's a generational talent. It was his old wide receiver he used to throw to. Why not keep them together? So I get it. So that's why I'm doing a B plus.
Okay.
All right.
So next on the clock,
Is your younger brother?
Cleveland Browns.
who's younger brother? I ain't related to them bums.
Yeah.
I ain't
Well,
related.
this-
I ain't related to him either. Anyways, the Cleveland Browns.
Mm, salty.
Number salty about what?
That
AFC North
playoff
champs.
L. That
AFC
playoff
North
L.
champs.
That L they gave
Defending,
you.
reigning and defending champs. Remember
Oof.
that.
They
About to run it
hit
back.
y'all with
Hold on.
that tooted and booted.
We about to run it back. Anyways,
Number one.
number one, Greg Newsome the second from Northwestern. Not too shabby Browns. Not too shabby overall for this draft, I want to say. They followed that out with inside linebacker from Notre Dame in the second round, Jeremiah Owusu. Then they went wide receiver, Anthony Shorts from Auburn in the third round because they're trading Odell Beckham. Spoiler alert. Joking, but maybe not joking. Anyways, they followed that up in the fourth with James Hudson from Cincinnati. Then they went D tackle Tommy Togiai from Ohio State. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, probably butchered that last name. But inside linebacker They went in the 5th, Tony Fields from West Virginia. Then they came back and went safety, Richard Lee Conti from Georgia. And then they followed that up or finished out their day with wide receiver Demetric Felton from UCLA in the 6th as well. So overall, I'd say I give the Browns, I give them a solid B. No, B plus, B plus. I give them B plus. I really like is, but I don't know if you can see that because where they're picking. Well, they made the playoffs, so they where they picked.
Yeah, they eliminated y'all.
Yeah. Yo, this guy. All right, so yeah, no, I take that back. I was gonna say when you're picking, I was thinking they were. I'm so used to them picking at the top of the draft. I'm like, of course you're gonna have good drafts when you're picking so high every year. But the fact that, yeah, I like their first 3 to 4 picks. Like I really like their first 3 to 4 picks. I'd say so. Yeah, and the fact that they got them where they got them, I'm not mad at it. Newsome obviously fits a need because half of their defensive back and secondary was all banged up last year. So you get to bring him in, pair him with Denzel Ward and the boys. Del Pitt, he got hurt before pretty much the season even really got started last year. So Greedy Williams will be back. They trying to create a no-fly zone or something out there. I don't know what them boys think they doing. We're gonna see, but I give them a solid B plus.
All right. Personally, the Browns didn't have too many needs in this draft. I feel that they got a B plus, in my opinion. Cornerback, it was a bit surprising. I didn't think they were going to go cornerback in the the first round. It makes sense, especially I guess with the injury plague season that they had in the secondary. Obviously, Trey mentioned that. So Greg Newsome, I like the player, but the biggest thing was getting Jeremiah Wusu in the second round. I know he has a medical issue, but hopefully, if everything pans out, again, they didn't have too many needs, similar to like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they did an excellent job on their draft. And it's looking scary. I hate to say this, but I might have to be the one to say it. Cleveland may be the favorites to win the North, but my Ravens have something to say about that, so we will see.
And just to point out real quick, for those of you who don't know, Anthony Schwartz timed as the fastest receiver in this draft.
Yeah, he's just fast.
Yeah, he's fast. He makes fast people look not fast.
Yeah, he's got to work on his route running, but he's very fast. So
they'll find ways. I mean, with the way they run the ball, can you imagine play action and he just shoots off? You don't got to run a route if it's
just a fly
ready,
route.
ready, set, go. And he burns Marcus Peters.
No, when he burning it, what he burning is Hayden.
Okay, so with you guys, I agree. It's a B plus. I mean, with the first 4, I believe we're very solid picks, especially Joke. I feel like that was a steal for a lot of teams that were looking at him in the second round.
Bro, I kept saying I was like, how is he still on the board?
So that was pretty much a steal. So I'll give it B plus. I mean, you can't have too many corners, especially what happened to them last season. Both of them were going down like flies. So yeah, I get it and everything. So yeah, this was I feel like this was a very solid one for the Cleveland Browns. I think this was very solid.
Unfortunately, they've been solid for like the last 4 years now, 5 years, since whenever they got Baker, since the Baker draft.
Yeah, before because now it's 5th year. So
yeah, they've been hitting, which is kind of why they're finally where they're at. But let's just be clear, it took them picking like in the top 10 for like 100 years to finally get it right. But whatever.
well, you
Yeah,
know,
you were generous in saying that.
What?
You saying 100 years. You're generous.
Oh yeah, probably longer.
Yeah, not longer. IJK.
All right, on to not America's team.
Yes, not.
The the Cowboys. Sorry.
You said it right the first time.
I know I did, but you know, we can't be biased on this show. So the Cowboys. There might be Cowboys fans who watch. So anyways.
It's a love-hate thing.
Pick one. Yeah, I hate them and they love it. Anyways.
Yeah.
Number 1, they went down to 12 after they made a deal with the Eagles made a deal with them who they're the devil. But anyways, they made an in-division trade with their rivals who kind of shocked the world. But they fused together in Dragon Ball Z terminology to say, screw you to the New York Giants.
Wow.
Anyways, so they moved down to 12. They got some draft capital for it. And with that pick, they got probably arguably the best defensive player in the draft. Definitely the best linebacker in the draft. Micah, I don't know the correct pronunciation. I've heard it both ways. Parsons. Inside linebacker from Penn State.
Yep.
Absolute freak. Hate that he's going to be a cowgirl, but they got a hell of a player right there. They then addressed cornerback, which the corners were gone by the time they picked in the first. So they settled for Parsons, which I don't know if that's so much of a selling because, again, hell of a player. Probably top 10 talent in the draft. Without me just on top of my head, I'd probably say that. So they definitely got a good player, hell of a player. They come back in the second round and get Kelvin Joseph from Kentucky. They followed that up with defensive tackle from UCLA. Not even gonna try.
Osa.
Yeah, Osa. Then in the third round, they go defensive end Chauncey Golston from Iowa. Their next third round pick, because apparently they have a bunch of third round picks. They went Nashawn Wright from Oregon State.
Well, remember they got 2 from Eagles.
Yeah, from the Eagles, you're right. Then they go inside linebacker, another good inside linebacker, Jabril Cox from LSU. Come back in the fourth and get Josh Ball, offensive tackle from Marshall. Then they go wide receiver in the fifth from Stanford, Simbi Fehoku. Then in the sixth round, they went defensive tackle Quentin Bohanna, cornerback Israel Mukamu from South Carolina in the sixth, and then offensive guard Matt Farnock from Nebraska. Man, some of these names, man, I don't know. I know we got some diversity in the league, though. That's all I can say, man, because, boy, some of these names out here. What your mamas was thinking out there. All right. Dallas, though. For what he had to work with, Jerry Jones, I mean, most of his picks were on defense, which we all can agree that's what needed to be addressed. So I'm not mad at it. They did still find a way to add some depth at receiver, I guess. Not that he probably will ever see the field anytime soon, but doesn't hurt just to have depth. But yeah, just about every pick besides two, they went defensive. So They did for the most part what they should have done, what they needed to do. Again, I guess we're not gonna have any like bad grades. I guess we're grade pretty lenient. I guess you would say. We're not too picky like some of the other analysts I've heard. I've heard some D's, and I can't say anybody per se had a bad draft. They're just the way I look at the drafts for me is how many of these players are going to make an impact this year versus like maybe in a couple years you'll look back and be like, oh, they did have a really good draft. That's how I'm grading.
Wow.
But I'll say a B minus.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the opposite of every analyst
Mm.
typically does. They talk too much about the Cowboys. I'm gonna talk less. All right, so B, Mika Parsons favorite, but outside of that, I felt like everything else was a reach, and that's it. Spence.
You don't like Jabril Cox?
Oh yeah, my bad. Jabril Cox, but outside of that, everybody else I felt like it was a reach. Second round was a reach, and then so on and so forth. So not gonna give y'all too much airtime. Dallas Cowboy fans, we're gonna keep it moving. Spence.
I'm gonna give it a C plus. I feel like even though Michael Parsons and Bill Cox were very great picks for them, it's just that they have a lot of linebackers now.
Yeah,
that's
true too.
That's a lot of linebackers, especially in that depth. You got to think about Benderez, you got Michael Parsons, Jabril Cox, and now they got, I forgot one guy that was on the defensive end. They're going to switch it to a linebacker. That's 6 right there. That's a lot. And so in your terms, how many of them are going to see the field?
Mika Parsons is seeing the field. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's Mika and probably Benderez.
And Jabril Cox.
Oh, okay. Sure.
From what I've heard, what I've been hearing.
Right. But still, that's a lot of
And you can't necessarily blame them for that though, because you see how the draft fell. The Panthers messed everything up when they took J.C. Horn so high. It was just like, oh, okay. So then and you had Denver come and they shot everybody when they went and took Surtain. So it's like, who's left at that point? So could they have went and got Farley? But you would have said that probably could have been a reach because you don't know his medical. At least with Parsons, you know what you're getting with Parsons. So
true. I like I said, I didn't have a problem with the pick. I just a problem of how many people in that pick. That's it.
I mean, yeah, they still need help in the secondary. I get it, but Trayvon Diggs actually came along in the second half of the year last year. Who knows? Vick says it's a reach in the second, but maybe Kelvin can actually do something. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
Vick a hater. Anyway, next we have the Denver Broncos. Again, we just kind of touched on it. They took Patrick Surtain at number 9, but with their first round pick. Yeah. Shocker there. Could have went linebacker.
Mika.
Yeah, they could. Yeah.
That was my Von Miller replacement.
Yeah, I don't know, but they shot everybody. But I'm not mad at it. I guess.
No.
They pissed me off in the second round. Just to let y'all know, Denver fans. Thought Miami was going to be able to get Javonte Williams. Miami's next pick was coming up in the second, and Denver decides to trade up and take Javonte Williams from North Carolina, the running back. Wasn't too happy with that. Third round, they followed it up with offensive guard Quinn Menarez from Wisconsin. Then they went outside linebacker Baron Browning from Ohio State. Like that pick, actually. They went safety Caden Stearns from Texas. Safety Jamar Johnson from Indiana. Wide receiver Seth Williams from Auburn. Actually like him, too. Cornerback Kerry Vincent Jr. from LSU. Not a bad corner. Know a bit about him as well. Went defensive end Jonathan Cooper from Ohio State. and then finish it out with Marcus Spencer from Mississippi State. So, I actually gave them C plus,
Hmm.
and the reason being, it wasn't necessarily the players that they got, but it's kind. I guess it's kind of like piggybacking off of kind of what Spence said with Dallas. If you look at their depth chart right now, as far as cornerback, why did they draft so many defensive backs in this draft? Please tell me. Please help that make sense, because I thought they addressed defensive back in free agency. So then, okay, you take Patrick Surtain, cool, but then you come back after Patrick Surtain, you take 2 safeties and then another cornerback. I just don't understand that. Like, there's not enough.
What's the ever rule? You can never have too many corners.
And that's my rule too. That is my rule too. But yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, I think they finally broke the rule that you can have too many corners, because I just don't understand. Just real quick. So you got Ronald Darby, Patrick Surtain, Parnell Motley, Bryce Callahan, Asain Basie, Duke Dawson, Chris Cooper, Kyle Fuller, Michael Ojemuda, and Nate Hairston. Those are all cornerbacks. Those aren't even safeties included. Those are all corners. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say solid B, mainly because they allowed the dang Dallas Cowboys. Actually, you know what? Yeah, solid B, but either way, it doesn't matter. I wanted them to draft Micah Parsons, but they didn't. They got Patrick Surtain. I'm not gonna say I completely get it, but hey, he is son of a former Pro Football Hall of Fame. Oh, I don't even know if he's a Hall of Famer, but he's a son of a former player, and his dad was pretty great. So outside of that, they stole Javonte Williams from the Miami Dolphins. Definitely was shocked by that, because I wanted Miami to get that running back in the second round, which that put a monkey in their wrench. But they got Baron Browning, which I like the pick. It kind of somewhat, I wouldn't say it makes up for the Micah Parsons not getting it, but not entirely. I'm not gonna cap on that. So it's and then they got the safety Jamar Johnson. I like him. But as Trey said, they have a lot of DBs, which, I mean, considering the division that they're in, their pass rush is pretty good. And hey, why not try to solidify that secondary and make sure that that back end is held up pretty tight. So I get it,
11
but solid
cornerbacks though.
Hey.
You only get 53 people on the roster. Y'all know that, right?
Hey, trade bait. We'll see.
Spence.
I'm gonna give him B minus. I should give y'all an F for being hoes. But
Agreed.
I can't be biased, so I'm gonna give y'all a B minus. The Patriots are 10-1. That was a surprising one, especially since y'all just got Fuller.
Shocker.
So I'm like, okay. So now with what you say, Trey, that's 10. That's 10. Out of 53, 10 of your players are cornerbacks. That's a lot. Other than that, I mean the picks was decent, but I mean the Surtain was it was out there. But I get it. You trying to, like you said, you making sure that, hey, let's lock down behind us, so now we can focus what's in front of us. So I mean, I get it. I mean, if it's anything to try to get Aaron to Denver, anything to try to get Aaron to Denver.